Ever wondered how the Native Americans thrived without modern conveniences? Their deep understanding of the environment was key. Long before the days of supermarket aisles and weather apps, the Native Americans had an innate ability to read the world around them. They could predict weather patterns with surprising accuracy just by observing subtle changes in the wind, the sky, and the behavior of animals. This wasn't magic or mysticism. It was a profound understanding of nature's rhythms and cycles, a skill honed over generations. And when it came to finding water sources, they were masters. From the driest deserts to the densest forests, they could locate springs, creeks, and underground reservoirs that remained hidden to the untrained eye. They knew that the presence of certain plants, the flight path of birds, or even the direction of ant trails could point the way to life-giving water. Their knowledge of the environment also extended to food gathering. They knew which berries were ripe for the picking in the cool of spring, which nuts fell in the warmth of autumn, and which roots could be dug up in the depths of winter. They understood the seasons and their offerings, ensuring a constant supply of food that was both diverse and sustainable. This wasn't just survival. This was a way of life that respected the balance of nature. It was based on traditional ecological knowledge, a kind of wisdom that went beyond mere survival skills. It included understanding the interconnections between plants, animals, and the land, reading natural signs and seasonal indicators, and knowing when to harvest and when to let things grow. As we move forward in this series, we'll delve deeper into these concepts and explore how they can be applied to modern-day prepping. But for now, let's take a moment to appreciate the foundational principle of Native American survival strategies, a deep, respectful understanding of the environment. As we can see, understanding and respecting the environment was the first step to survival for Native Americans. The secret to Native American survival also lay in their sustainable management of resources. They didn't simply take from the land, they gave back in equal measure, fostering a cycle of abundance that lasted for generations. Let's start with the forests. Native Americans had a deep understanding of their woodland neighbors. They knew that a forest left to its own devices could become overgrown and susceptible to disease or devastating wildfires. Their solution? Controlled burns. By intentionally setting small fires under specific conditions, they could clear out underbrush, stimulate new growth, and reduce the risk of larger uncontrolled fires. Next, we venture to the waterways. Native Americans were keenly aware of the life-giving power of water. They maintained the health of rivers and streams by not overfishing and by ensuring that their activities on land didn't lead to damaging runoff. Moving on to the fields, we find a masterclass in sustainable agriculture. Native Americans practiced crop rotation long before it was the norm. By changing the crops grown in a particular field each year, they prevented the soil from being depleted of valuable nutrients. But what about pests, you might wonder? Surely, they must have had their share of unwanted insects and rodents. Indeed, they did. However, instead of resorting to harmful pesticides, they employed natural pest management techniques. Certain plants known to repel specific pests were incorporated into their gardens, creating a natural barrier against these unwelcome guests. Through these practices, Native Americans didn't just survive, they thrived. They recognized that they were part of a larger ecosystem, and their survival depended on the health and well-being of that ecosystem. They didn't just take from the earth, they gave back, ensuring a balance that sustained them and the world around them. By managing their resources wisely, Native Americans ensured a sustainable future. Their practices, born out of necessity and a profound respect for nature, continue to have relevance today. In our next scene, we'll explore how this ancient wisdom can guide us in gathering and preserving food sustainably. When it came to food, Native Americans knew exactly how to gather and preserve it sustainably. Their methods for foraging, hunting, and fishing were all about balance with nature. Foraging was an art, and every plant, every berry, every root was intimately known. They understood the seasons and knew exactly when to harvest for peak flavor and nutritional value. Hunting was not just about bringing down the biggest game. It was a sacred act, a demonstration of respect towards the animal life that sustained them. Native Americans would utilize every part of the animal, wasting nothing. Fishing, too, was a dance with nature. They knew the rivers and streams, the habits of the fish, and they used techniques that allowed for the continued abundance of these aquatic resources. But gathering food was just the beginning. Preserving it for year-round use was another crucial aspect of their survival strategy. They had a variety of techniques for preserving meats and other foods. Let's talk about meat. After a successful hunt, the meat was carefully prepared and preserved. Smoking and drying were common methods. These techniques not only extended the shelf life of the meat but also enhanced its flavor. And what about all the gathered nuts, fruits, and roots? These too were preserved for year-round use. Drying was again a popular method. Foods could also be stored in cool, dry places, much like a natural pantry. Some foods were even buried in the ground, taking advantage of the Earth's natural cooling and preserving properties. From gathering to preservation, every step was carefully thought out to ensure sustainability. The Native Americans didn't just survive in their environment, they thrived, all while maintaining a deep respect and harmony with nature. Their methods, their wisdom, still hold lessons for us today. As we face our own challenges, we can draw inspiration from their resourcefulness, their resilience, and most importantly, their respect for the earth. Shelter is a basic necessity, and Native Americans had mastered the art of building durable, protective homes from natural materials. Shelters varied greatly depending on the tribe and region, but there are some common elements in their construction. The first step to creating a shelter is choosing the right location. Native Americans strategically positioned their dwellings to take advantage of the sun's warmth, the land's natural protection from elements, and proximity to water sources. They also considered the availability of construction materials in the immediate vicinity, as they used resources from the surrounding environment to build their homes. Now let's talk about the construction process. One commonly built shelter was the tipi. These cone-shaped structures were covered with animal skins or woven mats and had a central smoke hole. They were designed to be easily assembled and disassembled, making them perfect for tribes with a nomadic lifestyle. Another popular shelter type was the wigwam. Wigwams were dome-shaped and built with a frame of arched poles, most often covered with sheets of bark. These were semi-permanent structures designed to withstand harsh weather conditions. The construction of these shelters was an intricate process. The framework was carefully assembled, ensuring stability and strength. The covering, whether animal skins or bark, was then applied. This not only provided protection from the elements but also added to the structure's durability. The smoke hole at the top allowed for ventilation and a place for the smoke from the central fire to escape. The Native Americans' shelter-building techniques show their deep understanding of their environment and their ability to utilize available resources to the fullest. Their shelters were not just functional, they were also sustainable, blending seamlessly into the natural landscape. So the next time you're out in the wilderness, think of the Native Americans. They knew how to live with nature, not against it. Their shelters were a testament to their ingenuity and adaptability, their respect for the environment, and their survival skills. With the right materials and knowledge, they built shelters perfectly suited to their environment. Health is another crucial aspect of survival. Native Americans had a deep understanding of medicinal plants and natural remedies. They were the original pharmacists, using nature's bounty to treat common ailments and maintain overall health. In the vast pharmacies of the wild, they identified plants like echinacea, used to boost the immune system and fight infections. White willow bark, known as nature's aspirin, was used to reduce fever and relieve aches. Yarrow, a plant found across North America, was applied to wounds to stimulate healing and prevent infection. Consider the versatility of the humble elderberry. Native tribes recognized its power in treating respiratory infections and boosting overall immunity. They would often make a syrup from the berries, a remedy that's still popular today. Then, there's the slippery elm. This tree's inner bark was used to soothe digestive issues and relieve sore throats. It was often prepared as a salve or poultice, applied directly to the skin or steeped into a comforting tea. And let's not forget about the mighty cayenne. This spicy pepper was more than just a flavor enhancer. It was valued for its ability to stimulate circulation, aid digestion, and even relieve pain. But it wasn't just about knowing which plants to use. It was about understanding how to use them. They learned to extract the healing components of these plants through various methods. They would steep leaves and flowers for teas, grind roots into powders, and simmer ingredients into salves and poultices. These techniques, passed down through generations, allowed Native Americans to create effective remedies from the world around them. They knew which plants could ease a cough, soothe a burn, or calm an upset stomach. They understood the seasons of growth and the best times for harvesting. Their herbal medicine and natural remedies were a testament to their deep knowledge of the natural world. This wisdom, born from centuries of observation and experience, remains an invaluable guide for anyone seeking to harness the healing power of nature. Survival isn't just physical. Native Americans recognized the importance of mental resilience and spiritual preparedness. In the Native American worldview, spirituality and community were not just aspects of life. They were life itself. They understood that to survive and thrive, one must be in harmony with the environment, the community, and oneself. This spiritual connection to the world around them was a source of strength and resilience, providing a sense of purpose and direction in the face of adversity. Just like the seasons, human life also had its cycles, and each stage was seen as a learning opportunity, a chance for growth and development. This mindset of continuous learning and adaptation was integral to their survival strategies. It helped them not only to anticipate and respond to changes in their environment, but also to maintain a positive outlook, even in the most challenging circumstances. Community was another pillar of their survival strategy. They believed in the collective over the individual. Everyone had a role to play, and each person's contribution was valued. This sense of belonging and shared responsibility fostered a strong community spirit that was vital in times of hardship. It provided a support network, a sense of security, and a shared purpose that kept them going when times were tough. Mental resilience was also cultivated through various practices. Storytelling, for example, was more than just entertainment. It was a way of passing down wisdom, instilling values, and reinforcing the importance of mental strength and endurance. Through these stories, they learned to face challenges with courage and determination, to keep going when the odds were against them, and to never lose hope. Meditation and prayer were also important, helping them to stay focused, patient, and calm. These practices taught them to be present, to appreciate what they had, and to remain hopeful and optimistic about the future. In the end, their spiritual and mental preparedness played a key role in their survival. It gave them the strength to endure, the wisdom to adapt, and the resilience to bounce back. And these are lessons that we can all take to heart as we navigate our own survival journeys.